14 species of penguins now, but in the future there might be 18 or 19. This is a gentoo, but this photo is taken in the Falkland Islands. They're thinking of making the gentoo species from the Falklands a northern gentoo. Over the years, because of the abundance of food, they become much larger. Their bill is much more orange, and they often raise 2 chicks because of the abundance of food. They're paying attention and doing DNA tests to see if this might be a subspecies and become a new species. So this is the Falkland Islands again, where it's nice and warm, and look at the size of these chicks. They are just gigantic because of all that wonderful food. King penguins. They're the second largest penguin, and I think the most colorful with their spoon-shaped, wonderful yellows. Yellow is one of the few colors that's very important to penguins. They all have a different size, but they all have some kind of yellow on them. So when they're mature and they can mate, they get their yellows. The rookeries are occupied year-round because of the breeding cycle is unlike any other penguin's breeding cycle. They breed twice every 3 years. At king rookeries, there are often penguins incubating eggs, nesting crushes of chicks. The colony is constantly full because of the long breeding cycle where newly hatched chicks are side by side by last year's chicks. This next penguin is your Adelie. It's your basic black and white, small crest on the head. Everybody loves the little Adelie. It's super friendly. I was sitting on the beach, and this one just ran right up to me with great curiosity and started pecking at my parka. They live in colonies located across the ice pack on sandy beaches, rocky areas, cliffs, slopes, and ledges. Chinstrap penguins, they have a thin black stripe across their throat. We call them chinstrap, but other countries call them military because they think they look like the bobbies in London and in other countries. This penguin is molting. It's molting and turning into an adult. You can see its fluffy brown parka getting exchanged for its true feathers. It takes a penguin about 30 days, a month to molt. It's a very stressful time, especially for the adults. They raise their chicks, if they're having them at that time, go out to sea for 2 months and feed, because during the 30 days that a penguin molts, it doesn't eat. You'll see it has its flippers close to its body to stay warm and not use much energy. So they just stand very still and very quiet for 30 days until all their feathers have been replaced. They have time to preen and make them waterproof, and then they return to sea. They were formerly called black-footed, cape, or jackass penguins because of their loud, donkey-like vocalizations. Here they are on the beach. It's very hard to get near them in that there's been so many oil spills in South Africa. They've been mistreated, handled, cleaned. So if they see any people, they just scurry away. So you have to just be very peaceful for maybe an hour or 2 before they'll come out and walk by you. From South Africa, we're going to go right over to the Falkland Islands. These are called Magellan penguins. They were named after Ferdinand Magellan, who first noted this penguin at Argentina's Punta Tambo. This is a very special penguin called a Snares penguin. Again, one of the crested penguins. Snares penguin colonies have the smallest breeding area in the world for any penguin species, making them very vulnerable. The Snares penguin only breed on Snares Island in New Zealand. Again, we couldn't even walk on the beach because it's a nature reserve. We could only float by in our Zodiacs. So here they are climbing out of the water, starting to go up to their nests. Again, great climbers. One of the reasons for their decline is thought to be competition with commercial fisheries for food, as their breeding habitat is in the middle of a squid fishery. The last penguin we're going to talk about is the yellow-eyed penguin. It's one of the most endangered. Back in 2002, there were probably only 1,800 pairs left. This is from Campbell Island, and they breed mostly in the forest. So what I wanted to see was not on the beach, but in the forest. And here they were, standing on trees. So I was very pleased to see this. You would never mistake a yellow-eyed penguin for any other penguin because of their markings. They're the least gregarious of all the species. And I never thought of this. But yellow-eyed gulls are very quiet because their colonies are small and the birds are not required to raise their voices. They would never even breed if they could see another penguin. So they're the most quiet and secretive of all the penguins that I've ever seen. So here's one standing in a tree. I was so excited to see this. And I was very amazed that it didn't move. And then that evening I got back and finished my reading on yellow-eyed penguins. And they're the animal that doesn't move if they don't want you to see it. So I was very pleased